just on my lunch break. I'm just gonna work on my lunch break as one does. Today's day and age. This one's about people applying to basically a million jobs and never getting hired. I've been having this problem forever.
3,000. That's the number of jobs I've applied to as of today. 3,000 jobs. During the course of the year and a half that I've been out of work after an injury that happened on the job, trying to find another job has been so difficult. Now, mind you, I have 25 years experience as a sales manager, 29 years as an event manager. I'm well overqualified for any job I apply to, but yet, for some reason, over the course of me applying to 3,000 jobs, I've only had 9 interviews, and I've had maybe 15 callbacks, and all the other ones are fake. These days, you have to actually look at the actual website versus Indeed or LinkedIn, but both those sites are basically worthless.
Yeah, this is no fun. There's so many fake jobs. Everything's fake. A lot of scams. Most of the shit's a scam.
They're now becoming social media sites where it's more about popularity versus an actual job. So, I'm just putting it out there. Tomorrow is my birthday. It would be really nice if I could find work. So I'm putting that out there to the gods above. There's only so much resources that I can use before I run out of money.
Uber Eats and DoorDash, Instacart, buddy.
And frankly, the market is that bad. Is anybody else having that problem? I'd love to hear your story.
Yes.
I don't know if you've applied to 3,000 jobs. Have a nice day.
599 job applications, 502 flat-out rejections, 19 interviews, and 6 job offers. That's how much it took me to get my software engineering internships over the last year and a half. Take this as your
That's for an internship. Oh my god, I thought that was a real...
to start preparing for the 2026 recruitment cycle already. Fix your resume by building new, unique coding projects with a user base that aren't just copies of YouTube tutorials, and ideally incorporate some form of AI in them. Then network, set up all those coffee chats, go to every single in-person event you could think of. Don't just apply using LinkedIn. Use tools like Massive, which uses AI to auto-apply to hundreds of jobs for you automatically as soon as they come out. Most importantly, please grind your lead code. That's what's going to get you the job. Do a question from the Blind 75 every single day. Lock in. You got this.
Look, I just deliver pizza. I'm an Uber delivery driver and a DoorDasher. I'm exhausted just listening to that. That's what you got to do to get a job these days. Something's wrong.
I had this mind-blowing epiphany that I thought that having a job was going to be a constant thing that I always had because I did the right things and took the steps that I was supposed to take, like going to college, getting a degree, starting from the bottom. Okay, now we're here, and none of that worked. I mean, it worked because I am where I am. But it didn't work in a professional sense because I'm not a professional. I'm just me. And I think that's something that we need to accept. And I'm saying we as in I'm talking to my reflection or whatever the hell this is right now. But I think that you guys could fit into my we,
I'm definitely a part of that we. We were sold a scam to go to college. You gotta go to college, dude. If you don't go to college, you're gonna be nothing. You're gonna be nobody. You're gonna be a janitor at the school, which is actually not a bad gig, especially when you work through the ranks in there and you get up to being the freaking groundskeeper. Pays good ass money. So, yeah, we were sold a big scam, and I completely feel it. I've been saying this for years and years and years to everybody, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? You got a degree. No, I didn't. I wasted 4 years of my life and went into debt for nothing. That my degree is not used at all, especially not needed to deliver pizza.
Am I making sense, or am I just rambling again?
You're making sense.
You are the only constant in your life, and that, once you realize that, and you you're going to cry for a minute, because you're going to be like, but what about they're not? It's just you. And maybe you're resting
100%.
because they always stick around.
But I'm not going to cry.
Anyway, it's empowering.
Looking for a job right now, and companies are taking advantage of this job market. And I'm not talking about like the mom and pop place down the street. I'm not talking about small businesses. I'm talking about the companies that I'm seeing on LinkedIn. First of all, the pay for the job description is so wildly low, and the experience that they are looking for is, it'll be like 3 to 5 years for what should be an entry level role in these corporate jobs. Like, I can't imagine having.
Yeah, and they have every incentive to do so because there's so much in the labor pool. There's so many people out there applying. They got to go through 10,000 applications. You're competing with the whole entire world. So they're going to put that stuff on there and they're going to find it because that's how desperate. These people will take pay cuts. They will take pay cuts and they will travel. They'll travel across the whole United States for that job.
Just graduated college and be trying to find a job right now. Me, and I have like 5-6 years of experience. People are just taking advantage of the situation at this point. It is absolutely.
They are because they can, and we've let that happen. We've outsourced all of our labor. All of our labor is in China. And you're trying to find labor here, most of it's outsourced. The only thing left here is running the AI servers, honestly. So it's very tough.
Hey there, I'm Alexandra, a
little
senior
commercial,
technical writer
nice.
for Chrome, but I wear many hats.
Absurd.
Hey besties, so the job market is actually insane. I was looking on LinkedIn earlier, applied to this job. Within the application, they have this whole statement basically saying, hey, we appreciate the relevance of AI, but please don't use it to submit stuff for your application. Like, we want it to be very relevant to who you are as a person so that basically we can evaluate that correctly. And then, so I submitted my little application, then got an email back saying, hey bestie, thanks for submitting the application. Want to go ahead and start this first round interview process. The first round, however, is going to be a phone call with our AI assistant. But don't worry, because we review all of the phone calls ourselves. So something feels off about that, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's feeling a little hypocritical.
Don't job hop, y'all. Don't do it. Bro, it's starting to catch up to me where people are seeing how many jobs I've had and they're like, yeah, I'm not hiring you. And I think that I jinxed it last time because when I left after like 4 days of working my last job, I was like, oh, well, like I was joking. I was saying, oh, well, it's their fault for seeing how many jobs I had and still like hired me after seeing that I had so many jobs. Obviously.
Yeah, that's true. You know, job hopping is job hopping. I don't know. It's their own fault. I agree. You know, you do you. If you don't like the job, leave. You know, especially if they don't care about you either.
Yeah.
I am a hiring manager in 2025.
Uh-oh.
What does that mean? That means it's absolutely crazy out here. How many people apply for each job that we have open at every company. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a perspective from an employer side.
10,000.
What it looks like when we post a job and what kind of traffic we're getting and how we try to get through that.
I'm interested in
and
this.
I'm also going to tell you what we find most valuable when we're hiring people. So if anybody's in the job market, or you've got friends, family,
everybody's in the job market, bro,
that are looking, send them this, and hopefully it's good information. First of all, for each role that we post, now we pay for Indeed and LinkedIn. There's ZipRecruiter, there's Monster, there's Career Builder, there's every other kind of career site in the world. But we pay right now for Indeed for base level candidates, and then LinkedIn for like higher level candidates. It's kind of how we use the platforms. You can find both on both platforms, but that's generally what you find. So we get between 60 and 110 applications per job per week. Now, my company right now has about 70 open positions. So think of how many positions, how many applications that is a week.
Oh my God.
Crazy how many applications come in a week. If you want to cut through the noise, I'll give you a couple little tips before I move on to how I hire. So first of all, like most people just spray and pray. They just apply to all kinds of stuff crazy that they're not even qualified for. Those are very quickly shuffled off. If you don't have like relevant experience that matches up, we move off of it. Unless it's like entry level, and then we'll look. But
I mean, it makes sense.
Most important thing is obviously first apply for jobs that are in your vertical. Second thing is that if you're in high school or college and you want to go into a particular field,
Work in that field, even if it's part-time, if it's internship, anything while you're in high school and college, get relevant experience. I cannot tell you guys how many people that come to me that are college graduates that think they're automatically going to get a job. Let's say they have a marketing degree.
And that was me, by the way. My genius. Going to the Navy so I can use the GI Bill so I can get a job, and then I'll have a job forever, and it'll be so easy because I have this degree that's so good. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your degree. Honestly, where it's at is the certifications. Once I got a IT certification, I was able to get a job. That'll get your foot in the door. Not a bachelor's degree. Nobody cares about a bachelor's degree. Nobody. Thank you, though.
Background checks. It costs money. Personally, I don't like to lie. And I never really lied when getting like my first job. But I had a friend who always said that he had experience in everything because everything is easy to learn and they will train you either way because they have to. For example, you want to serve, you don't have serving experience.
Other consultants.
Just say you do. Say you do, get in there. Who cares? If anything, you make buddies with the people. They'll train you, dude. If you have good vibes and you got hired, they'll train you. I've seen people that have no clue what they're doing get hired, and they just train them. They teach them. It's that simple. And you're left sitting there like, what the hell happened? You got to pass the vibe check. I'm going to read the comments. People don't understand the difference between joking and telling the truth while laughing. Yeah, I guess. I find it funny how employers expect candidates to have internship experience, but refuse to count it as work experience since it's not full-time. Yeah, everything's kind of ridiculous. I feel sorry for the first guy. When you hurt yourself on the job site, you're a liability to another company, so it makes it harder for everyone to hire you. Yeah, life is not fair. It is definitely not. This shit sucks. Unless you're applying to upper management position, multi-stage interviews or more than 2 stages are absolute bullshit. 100%, dude. There's no reason why you got to go through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of interview. I think these people, what they're doing is they don't have much to do anyway, these hiring people. So they just say, we're going to interview 30 people and do 6 rounds. So then they have a job for the next 2 months or 3 months, and then ultimately never hire anybody. And then they didn't do anything, but they got a paycheck for 3 months. That's what I think is really going on. Anyways, I got to get back out there and deliver groceries and coffee and pizza. Peace!